Hi, and welcome back to Revolution English. I received the message the other day, and the person wrote to me, "Hello, I am interested in taking English lessons." So the correct word is interested, not interesting, but this is a common mistake. So today I want to help make it clear how to use adjectives that end with ed or ing. So let's get started. First, notice that interested and interesting are both adjectives. Let's look at it this way. Suppose this is you or anyone, and this is something that you're thinking about or that's affecting you somehow. It can be anything, a place, a person, a thing, an action, an idea. The adjective that describes you or how you feel ends with ed. The adjective that describes this ends with ing. So the opposite of interesting is boring. A lecture or a class at school may be boring.
First World War was World War I. Second World War was World War II. First World War was before World War II and Second World War was after World War I. Okay? Good. So,
And these students seem bored. So if someone says, "I'm interesting," it sounds a bit strange because it sounds like they are describing themselves. Like this.
He has inside jokes with complete strangers. Cuba imports cigars from him. Mosquitoes refuse to bite him, purely out of respect. He is the most interesting man in the world.
Whatever's on this side doesn't have to be a physical thing. It can be a thought or an idea or a situation. Here's an embarrassing situation. The camera in this sports stadium picks random people in the crowd, zooms in on them, and puts their image on a big screen. Thousands and thousands of people saw this guy pick his nose. It's embarrassing. He's embarrassed. If you're driving and you see signs like this, it can be confusing. The driver would be confused. Mosquitoes or the sound of a mosquito can be annoying. I can hear one now. I don't like it. I'm annoyed. So this is a common pattern in English grammar. Interested, interesting. Bored, boring. Embarrassed, embarrassing. Confused, confusing. And I mentioned this in another video here, revolted and revolting. But things don't always follow this pattern. A child may be scared of this monster, but we would describe the monster not as scaring, but as scary. Sorry, that's English. There are often exceptions to the rules of grammar. Now, the adjective that ends with ed can always be used by itself to describe the person or how they feel. Surprised, disappointed, frustrated. And the adjective that ends with ing can also be used by itself. Interesting, frustrating, disturbing. But there are times when we want to connect this ed adjective with this ing adjective to describe the relationship between the two. Remember, the person who wrote me was trying to tell me that they were interested in taking lessons. The connecting word that describes the ed adjective and the ing adjective is usually a word like in, of, by, or from. These are called prepositions. And the one you will use depends on the word and on the situation. So it can be a bit difficult, and it's best to learn these one by one. Here are some more examples. He's bored of the movie. We were disappointed with the service at the restaurant. I'm annoyed at the mosquito. She's excited about going traveling. They were surprised by what he said. And this.
So tired, tired of waiting, tired of waiting for you.
Did you notice something? Each of these adjectives that ended with ed or ing by itself without the ending is a verb. So be careful here, because when you add ed or ing to a verb, it can do other things too. Remember, adding ed to a verb turns it into the past tense. Cat video coming up.
Mr. Grant of trespassing, Captain Buloni makes a few questionable remarks.
The man just surprised the cat. And adding ing to a verb turns it into the present continuous tense. So these signs are confusing the drivers. That's what they're doing. The signs are confusing is describing the signs. Remember the mosquito? I can still hear it. It's still annoying me now. I'm going to swat it. All this can be a little bit complicated, but if you want to use these ed and ing words correctly, here's some homework. Spend some time reading or listening or watching a movie with subtitles. Look for words that end in ed and words that end in ing, and look at the words around them. We call this the context, to find out whether that word is being used as an adjective or as a verb. And I'll leave you with this. Sometimes a child might complain and they will say, I'm bored, there's nothing to do. And I've heard a parent say to a child, if you're bored, it's because you're boring. And it means something like this. If you're bored, instead of focusing on the things you can't do, focus on the things you can do. That's more interesting. Any questions? Send me a message, leave a comment, and in the meantime, please like, subscribe. Look forward to seeing you next time.